There's no such thing as sight reading. And it is all region season in Texas. Now, all region season lasts about 6 months. Typically, they will hand the music out for all region, all area, all state process in July. And then the competition doesn't happen until like the end of the year, November, December. Area is usually like the beginning of January. And so it's 3 etudes that are supposed to be contrasting, although they're generally, lots of times it's 3 etudes from the same time period by the same composer, and one of them is just a little bit slower than the others. And so the literate students, the one who've learned how to read music and spell scales and chords and focus rhythmically as opposed to just focusing on a rote technique, typically can play the 3 etudes at a slower tempo, but play them accurately on the first day. By the end of the first week, they can typically play them at performance tempo, and by the end of the second week, they usually have them memorized. Some of the most skilled players will have them memorized by the end of the first lesson just by identifying the key centers. But then they're not allowed to audition. Now they got to wait 5 months before they're allowed to audition once they're at Now let me tell you, if it takes you 5 or 6 months to learn this music, I don't care if you make first chair All-State, you are not an elite player. The elite players are the ones that can do it in the first day, week, 2 weeks. Those are the elite players. But then they're not allowed to compete, right? And they have to wait 4 or 5 more months before they're allowed to compete. Now, why do we do that? Well, it's simple. You have to wait for the musically illiterate students to practice their technique exercises measure by measure in their sectionals, listening to recordings because they don't know how to count rhythms, doing 4 and 8 measured pass-offs week after week so they can learn how to play the song without actually becoming musically educated. And then at the end of the 6 months, you can't tell who the literate players are. You can't tell them apart. The literate players, this is how you teach someone how to play their music without musically educating them, without them being musically literate. So imagine you're a runner, and you're a serious runner, and you're out pounding the pavement every morning at 5 a.m., and you've been working on it for years, and you never skipped leg day, and you're out running in the rain, and if you got the flu, you're still working out because you're serious and you're trained, and you sign up for a race. You sign up for the race, and you line up at the start line, and you hear the crack of the pistol, and you start running, and you're ahead. You're ahead of the pack, right? You feel the wind in your face. Everybody's behind you. You're extending your lead. You know you're going to win. You get to the finish line, and they say, stop. You're not allowed to cross. You're not allowed to cross. You got to wait for those other people to catch up. And you say, but isn't this a race? Aren't we trying to find out who the best runner is? And they say, those guys back there are not good sight runners. And you say, what the hell are you talking about? There's no such thing as sight running. And so then they make you wait. You wait and you wait until finally all of the slackers who are lying in bed in the morning playing video games while you're out running in the rain, they catch up to the finish line, and then you all cross at the same time, and then they choose the winner based on some arbitrary opinion like who has the nicest running shoes or whatever. If we're going to create competitions that favor the slackers and punish the productive people, well, then we're just going to incentivize more slackers. My name's Mark Dooley. I've been a private music teacher for 36 years, focused on practical theory and music literacy. If you'd like to hear more, follow me. If you like lessons, contact me. If you learn how to read words, you can learn how to read music.